Hello, hello. Welcome back to the Manifest It Sis podcast. Thank you so much for listening. I'm your host, Mindset and Manifestation Coach, Danny Faust. And today we're talking about something this has come up a lot in the past week or so, especially post-election here in the US. There's a lot of stress around the holiday season in general, but I feel like this year it's kind of, at least with my collective and the community of my clients, it's a lot more stressful this year with economic constraints, with social situations. There's just so much going on. There's divisiveness, there's argumentative rhetoric, there's just so much stress. I was actually just interviewed about this topic, and I'll share the link to that in the show notes. But I wanted to share this here on my platform just because I feel like this is something that people are worried about and maybe not handling in the most healthy way and or maybe avoiding because they don't know how best to handle this holiday season. So I just want to give a few, I don't know if it's even tips. Yeah, I guess a few tips to maybe get through this holiday season happier, healthier, and wholer, despite what's going on socially, politically, and economically. Okay. First off, I want to say be gentle with yourself. No matter how this holiday season is going to look for you, I want you to prioritize being gentle and grace-filled with yourself. We're really good at giving other people grace. And during this time of year, it's great that we're like that. Everyone deserves grace, especially at this kind of rough time of year. But I want you to remember to extend that same graceful heart, that same gentle spirit to yourself. We tend to take on a lot more. We're in this like energy of overload. We want to make Christmas perfect for the kids. We want to make Thanksgiving perfect for all of our guests. We want to make sure the house looks great. We want to make sure we're still keeping up at work. Where it's just so much and it's all the priorities are a priority. And then where are we in the situation? So I want you to embody the energy of grace and gentle overall. Okay. Then I want you to kind of think about what you want this holiday feeling to look like for you and your family. I don't want you to think about the traditions that you guys have held for however many years. I want you to think about what you actually want this holiday season to look like for you and your family. Be selfish. Maybe you're not going to take that, interstate trek to the in-laws like you normally do just because it's tradition. Maybe you're not going to host Thanksgiving. Maybe you will. Maybe this will be the first holiday that you do host because you've always wanted to. Who knows? Only you know what you want. And I want you to feel empowered and have that agency to actually decide what it is you want and then communicate it with the people who need to know. This is not the season for you to be just kind of shutting up and going along. This is a season for you to say what you want and ensure that you get it. On that same note, I want you to decide the energy you want to embody over this holiday season and then action it. So if the energy you want to hold is ease, that's always my favorite one is ease, then how are you going to action that? How will you embody ease? Maybe you're ordering out instead of spending hours cooking a meal. Maybe you guys are just going out to a restaurant for Thanksgiving dinner instead of cooking and having all these people over in your house. Maybe if you normally do have a whole house filled and all the cousins sleeping over at your place, maybe this year you say, you know what? That's not happening. Someone else can host. I don't know it. I don't know your life. Only you do. But I want you to actually decide how am I going to action the energy I want to hold? So first we're thinking about what we want it to look like. Then we're going to decide the energy we want to hold and think about ways that we can actually action it to make it happen. And then we've got to set our boundaries. This is a season where people are popping off, people are talking, a whole lot of yin yang. There's a lot of divisiveness. There's a lot of heightened emotions about, the outcome of this election, the economic standings, socioeconomic standings of various people right now. So it's just a lot. on top of the fact that it's the holidays and there's already this societal pressure. So I want you to set your boundaries. And remember, boundaries are for you. They impact other people, but they're not for other people to hold. A boundary is something that you set for yourself that says, if this happens, I will respond this way. In this situation, I will do that. It's really an if-then statement for yourself. How am I going to respond if someone pushes my buttons around this political topic? How am I going to respond if my family members are trying to pressure me to host Thanksgiving after I told them I do not want to? What am I going to do? If you keep boundaries as a as something that's a you thing versus a what other people have to respect, it's a lot easier to hold the boundaries because it's not up to anyone else but you. And remember, a boundary isn't a boundary if you don't hold it. So there's that. So set your boundaries. Then I want you to do a lot of pre-planning. So if you are going to host, really pre-plan and take a look at that menu, like take a look at that invitation list, take a look, I don't know how big your family is, but if you have seating plans, who won't sit next to Uncle Roger because he's always talking about this, to be strategic and enlist some wing people, your partner, your kids, kind of get together and over communicate about what you want the gatherings to look like so they know, okay, if you see Uncle Bob drinking more than this many glasses of wine, let mama know. Or if people start arguing, let me know so I can come in and intervene. And just have safe topics that you can talk about so that you can redirect if necessary. Also, think about that guest list. Does every single cousin have to come? Does that aunt that gives you hell every single time she's around you have to be invited to this gathering? You get to make the rules. I feel like that's an overarching reminder that we need to have over this holiday season and beyond. It's that you get to make the rules. This is your life. This is your holiday season. And if you're playing host, this is your house. Who makes the rules but you? I always say that your life is eternally editable. So is your holiday season. You can decide what will and won't happen this year. And you can do it unapologetically. So I want you to just remember that because protecting your peace is of the utmost this season. And if we're going back to the very first tip of giving yourself grace and being gentle with yourself, this is one of those ways. So pre-planning, deciding how we'll pivot if the conversation gets touchy or edgy, deciding who we will and won't invite so that everyone in attendance feels comfortable and safe. That kind of pre-planning is really crucial. Also, when it comes to gift giving around the holidays, pre-planning is and over communication kind of works there as well. A lot of people are feeling a pinch, feeling, tightened purse strings around this time of year and are maybe feeling insecure about what's going to happen with this new administration economically. So this might be a scaled back Christmas, or this might be a less gift giving holiday. And that's okay. But my tip to you is to over communicate that with your family. Let them know what will and won't happen this year, what to maybe expect, especially if it's going to be a big shift from years past. And be sure that when you're communicating, it's not in a place of fear, like instilling fear in the child or worry, like, are we okay? Is everything fine? Make sure that it's communicated in a way that is age appropriate and still wrapped in a positive bow. Also, for this year, you might, if the purse strings are tighter, employing things like Groupon and doing activity type gifts, experiential gifts might be a great option because memories last forever and your kids do want to spend time with you, even if they're moody teenagers and act like they don't. They definitely do, but they won't be caught dead saying it. So be communicative and set those expectations. Another thing to really instill in your kids this season, and not just for Thanksgiving, but throughout the holiday season and beyond, is an energy of gratitude. And I always talk about gratitude and making gratitude lists. And I know I've shared on the podcast how before dinner, instead of saying grace, my family would go around and say what we're grateful for. And that's just our normal practice. Instill those things, start those things. And this is a really great time also. I know it's a very popular time for people to volunteer, but that is a really great way to not only give and have that full heart from giving and helping others, but also it's a reminder to be super grateful for what you do have, even if it's less than in prior years. And it's an eye opener for kids, especially if they're, of age to help with volunteering. It's a real good eye opener and a reminder for them about where they are in the world and how they can help others, as well as being super grateful for what they do have and what you as a parent do for them. And I think it's a really great time. And I know that this is a popular time to volunteer, but I would love to suggest that you make it a year-round thing, even like a monthly outing for your kids, for you and your children. Also, when you are communicating with your kids about what this Christmas or this holiday season may look like, if it's going to be different from years past, get them in on the decision making. They might surprise you. They might surprise you with what they actually want. Or if you say, hey, we can only get one gift this year, what is it? They might be okay with that. If you're normally one to give a million presents and they only have that one thing that they really actually wanted, this might be the year to just give that one big gift, but also include them. They might choose two experience gifts versus a video game. I don't know, but they might choose something that surprises you. So be open, be communicative, and same deal with your spouse. We all have these holiday traditions, but this is a year of new tradition. This is a year where we can really pivot and shape the holiday season how we want it to be. That said, I want to remind you to take care of yourself during this season. Self-care is a 24/7, every day, all year round effort, but this is the time of year we kind of forget it, especially we're running from social activity to this event, trying to stay on top of everything. I want you to take a pause, deep breath, shoulders down, relax your tongue from the top of your mouth, relax your jaw, take a beat, and give yourself a moment. Check in with yourself. Am I eating well? Have I been hydrating well? Am I sleeping well? Have I been getting some movement? Am I taking time for connecting with spirit? Am I taking some quiet time alone? Am I having time with loved ones? Check into that core self-care metrics, and it doesn't have to be everything all day. You can get great sleep this night and move twice a week or whatever it is. Don't feel like you have to do every single self-care item every single day. That's just adding stress, more stress on your shoulders, and you've got enough to do. But you have to check in with yourself. Sometimes we'll feel overloaded and we'll feel stressed out and anxious, but it's really just because we haven't had some quiet time to think, to journal. We haven't been sleeping well. We just realize, oh my gosh, I haven't eaten since whenever. So take that time, take care of yourself this holiday season and beyond. Lastly, I just want to leave you with a reminder that positivity is a choice. How we feel is a choice. We don't always remember it in the moment. So I want to encourage you to just make a daily practice, even if you have to set a reminder on your phone, make a daily practice to check in with yourself, how you're feeling, the thoughts you're having, and reframe, shift, or pivot to something a little more positive if you catch yourself, ruminating on something negative or having just kind of deflated or down or heavy thoughts. We get to choose how we feel, and what we put out, we're going to see mirrored back to us. So the more often we can remember, be mindful enough to remember, oh, this is how I want to feel. These are the types of thoughts I want to think. The more we get into that habit, the more we'll see that positivity reflected back to us. So that's all I wanted to say. I wanted to just share this little message because I know the holidays are tough, and just know you can get through it. And if it's extremely emotional and extremely tough for you, again, give yourself grace. And I have numbers that you can reach out to in the show notes. Listen, I lost my brother on Christmas Day. I know how hard the holidays can be. I know it can be a lot to just muster up that energy to smile and pretend you're okay for the sake of the kids. It's a lot, and you deserve to be able to release your emotions and share how you're feeling. So I have some resources for you in the show notes. I want to encourage you to just love on yourself and others and have a fantastic holiday season. I love you very much. Bye. Thanks for listening.